Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Fright Night Friday Blu-ray update. Well, Blu-ray and one other kind of cool item. Starting to stock up for Halloween, actually, because there's a lot of stuff I want to cover this upcoming Halloween. So I figured, I got a lot I want to do, so I should probably start working on it now, because otherwise I'm going to end up in a big crazy time crunch and not get everything done. Don't worry, the rest of the Halloween reviews are coming, okay? They're coming, but it's been so long since I did the last batch that I'm going to have to rewatch the last 5 movies before I can do those. So I don't have a time frame on that, but they're coming, I swear, okay? I will get them done, don't worry. Anyway, meantime, looking towards next Halloween. So got some pretty cool stuff to add to the collection. Some of which is for Halloween, some of which is just because I really wanted it in the collection. So we got some classic horror on Blu-ray. Let's check it out today on Fright Night Friday on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Alrighty, well, there's one person in particular who has been very firmly associated with the Halloween season for many, many decades now, actually. And, I thought I would pick up a representation of this person as part of the early Halloween festivities. I'm, of course, talking about none other than the Mistress of the Dark herself, Elvira. Yes, I picked up the Funko Pop vinyl of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Very cool. I've actually been looking for this one for quite a while. It seemed like it just sold out instantly everywhere. I guess I could have ordered it online, but I prefer not to do that because they tend to show up crunched and stuff like that. And this one's in really nice shape, actually. The box is in really good condition. Where the heck did I get this? I think it was EB Games. Yeah, it was one of the EB Games in town. Had one left, and as soon as I saw it on the shelf, I just snapped it right up because, as I said, I've been looking around for it for a while. So I don't buy a lot of Funko Pops, as you know, but occasionally there will be the odd one here and there that catches my eye. This was definitely one of them. I've always loved Elvira and Movie Macabre and all that fun stuff. I used to watch the old 80s show quite a bit back in the day, and loved the movie that she did. I never actually got around to seeing Haunted Hills, the second movie she did. I really need to check those out, or check that one out. But I've seen the first movie quite a few times and always really enjoyed it. So anyway, Elvira, Funko Pop. I meant to show this in the last update, actually, and I completely forgot. I picked it up a little while ago, a couple updates ago, but it was sitting over there and kept getting forgotten. Anyway, carrying on, movies. There was a couple of silent films that I've been wanting to get in the collection for a very long time, both of which recently had some beautiful restorations done by Kino Video. First of which being The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, the wonderful horror film of German Expressionism. This is just a freaking beautiful, beautiful edition. They actually got a hold of the original negative. Can you believe this? This movie's from 1919. It's 2 years shy of 100 years old. And they got a hold of the original negative for all but the first reel. So the first reel they used like, I don't know, like a first generation print or something like that. And even that looks amazing. But holy crap, once it gets to that second reel, it's just like suddenly so clean. Like, it's just amazing how much detail is in this thing. If you want any proof of how good film looks and how perfectly suited a movie is for Blu-ray, regardless of age, provided it's from a film source, here's your proof right here. This looks freaking gorgeous. Plus, it's just a great film. Really, really like this film a lot. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. One of the first examples of, I'm going to move Elvira just because she's kind of putting everything in shadow there. But one of the first examples of a film that ends with a really crazy twist that you may or may not see coming. So There you go. What a twist! All right, and then next up, well, we can't be talking about silent horror without one of the granddaddies of them all. The one that almost disappeared forever because of copyright infringement. We, of course, have Nosferatu, one of the earliest adaptations, or possibly the earliest adaptation, actually, of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I say copyright infringement because it was a clear adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula without getting permission to adapt it. So they modified it slightly, saying, "Oh no, this isn't Dracula. It's Nosferatu. It's completely different." Yeah, it's not completely different. It's exactly the same story, but wonderful film. Some beautiful, moody, dark stuff. I've not watched this version yet. The last time I saw this was probably on VHS back in the day. So really looking forward to checking this one out. Another beautiful edition from Kino. Very, very nice indeed. Both of these are loaded with extras as well. Lots of cool stuff. They come with booklets and all kinds of things. I may do some closer looks at them at some point just for the heck of it. And yeah. And then next up from Scream Factory, well, we got the original. I also got the remake. This is Nosferatu. When did this come out? The 1979 remake starring Klaus Kinski. The interesting thing is they filmed two versions of this, basically an English language version and a German language version. This includes both versions, so whatever is your preference, they're both here, which is pretty cool, and loaded with extras as well. So I'm really looking forward to this because I've never seen it. I've never seen this version of it. I've heard that as far as remakes go, this is actually really well done. So I've been wanting to check that out for quite a while. Which reminds me, another thing I should pick up, speaking of Nosferatu, is Shadow of the Vampire, which is apparently quite good. Kind of a drama-umentary. It's sort of a dramatized account of the making of Nosferatu. So I've heard that it's also quite good. So I'll have to see if I can check that out. I would have picked that up with these, but I completely forgot about it until just now. So yeah, thanks for reminding me, viewer, for watching and beaming that into my brain in the past when I filmed this. Woo! Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. All right, next up, I got the first two. You knew I was going to get the next ones. Might as well get up to date on the collection. Really hoping they release the last two of these before Halloween, otherwise I'm going to have to resort to my DVD editions. Picked up The Wolfman, complete Legacy Collection Blu-ray set. Very, very nice. And then, of course, finally, also picked up The Mummy, complete Legacy Collection, Blu-ray collection, set collection. So this has all the Mummy movies, and that has all the Wolfman movies. Now, The Mummy is the only one of the four sets thus far with no duplication, because The Mummy kind of stands alone. What do we have on here? We've got... Yeah, so we got The Mummy, The Mummy's Hand, The Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, The Mummy's Curse. That is all one epic continuing story. And then we have Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy. So there you go. So the complete Mummy saga. Interestingly enough, the Mummy never crossed over with the others. It just kind of stayed on its own. It was its own continuing saga. The Wolfman, we have The Wolfman, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, Werewolf of London, and She-Wolf of London. So this has the full Monster Mash trilogy. The Wolfman never actually had its own sequels. It just kind of had its first movie, and then went into the Monster Mash trilogy, and that was the next time we saw the Wolfman. And then we didn't see him again until Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Werewolf of London was the first sort of Wolfman movie that Universal did. It's from 1935, and then She-Wolf of London was done in 1946, so 5 years after the Wolfman, but not connected to it in any way. It's actually its own thing. But we'll talk about all of those when we get to them a little later this year. Yeah, so we'll take a brief closer look here, shall we? So, Wolfman, we get basically slipcase, open her up, and we got this nice collection of discs. Each disc all separate and on its own there. Got the complete Monster Mash trilogy all on one disc. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It's just the same disc that was available before. And then Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London. So there you go. Is this closed properly? Oh, no. Is the clip broken? The clip is broken. Okay, well, good thing there's a slipcover. And then the Mummy. Again, same thing. Nice, nice slipcover. Nice embossing on these, actually. Quite classy. And then, oh, discs are falling out here. Hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. So we have the Mummy. We got the Mummy's Hand and the Mummy's Tomb. Mummy's Ghost and the Mummy's Curse. I actually really like the Mummy series. I've watched the old Legacy collection a few times, and then Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. This is the only set that Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy is on, by the way. So, as I say, this is the only set thus far with no duplication of movies. Let's just rearrange things a little bit here. So we'll go back in time. We'll just take a look at the Nosferatu set. Basically, just nice disc art there, and it is a reversible cover. So I remember when they released this on VHS, one version, like the English version, had one color border, the German version had the other. So you had the black border version of the cover and the white border version of the cover, and that was how you could tell whether or not you were getting the English or German version, and it would say on the cover as well which one it was. So it's kind of cool that they did that. It's kind of unusual. And then the original Nosferatu, much like the Legacy collection, comes in a slip box. And there we go. There we go. Open her up. And look at that. Beautiful 2-disc edition. Got the movie and loads of extras. In terms of extras, what do we have here? We've got a ton of stuff. Let's see. Newly mastered in HD from the archival 35mm restoration from Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau Stiftung. Oh, I see. So disc 1 is the version with English intertitles, and disc 2 is the version with German intertitles and optional English subtitles. So the German would actually, I would assume, be the original intertitles. So if you want to be a purist, you would watch that version with the English subtitles. Hans Erdmann's original 1922 score in DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 or 2.0 stereo. The Language of Shadows from 2007, a 52-minute documentary on the making of Nosferatu. And lengthy excerpts from other films by F.W. Murnau, such as Journey into the Night from 1920, The Haunted Castle from 1921, Phantom from 1922, The Finances of the Grand Duke from 1924, The Last Laugh from 1924, Tartuffe from 1925, Faust from 1926, and Taboo from 1931. That's spelled T-A-B-U, by the way. I'm not sure how many of those are available in full form from Kino, but I know Kino has made a bunch of the other F.W. Murnau films, or Murnau? I keep saying Murnau. Anyway, a bunch of his other films available. And then Cabinet of Dr. Caligari had this lovely slipcover, very nice. I do need to get me more silent films. This is kind of, watching this again has kind of made me hungry for more silent films. So here inside, not much on the interior. However, we do have a small booklet. Just kind of a pamphlet, actually, basically about the sort of visual styles and whatnot of the film. The Beginning of German Expressionist Cinema, Expression of Horror by Kristen Thompson. So, yeah, so basically just talking about how Caligari was one of the first sort of expressionist style films. Basically very stylized sets and art design. A lot of the sets are literally painted backdrops, and they have no shame about them. It's just, it's meant to be very surreal and stylized, and it just has a really cool look to it. Actually, I've always really dug the visual design of Dr. Caligari, which is one of the reasons I love the film so much. Alrighty, well, that is it for this update, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Lots of classic horror and some, and a little mini Elvira to oversee the proceedings. So thanks very much for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. Really appreciate your support, guys and gals. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. So until then, sayonara. Welcome back. So, prepping for Halloween. Well, you can't have Halloween without at least some representation of... I had Franks and beans for dinner. Oh, God. Oh, it's just foul. Oh, jeez. All right. God, it's just like hanging in the air. Oh, go away. I can't breathe. Ugh, gassing myself here. It's 3:27 in the morning when I'm filming this because I'm crazy. I'm working nights. I don't actually have to go to bed until like 5:36, so I've got time to do these. I've got like a couple hours, basically. Welcome back. Alrighty, well, you can't talk about Halloween. Well, I guess you can, but no. Just can't talk about Halloween, ever.